Hey, what's going on, everyone? So I want to start this video off by saying, for those of you that didn't know, I'm actually a fan of hip hop too, and because some of the videos that I've made, I've already touched on, like maybe 2, 3 videos talking about metal, and so I also want to say that yeah, I'm a fan of a lot of different music, and for those of you that also didn't know, I'm a musician, so I've played in a few bands, all the way from metal to punk, and I've done some hip hop projects and everything like that. And just for the hell of it, I'm gonna leave a couple of links down below for some stuff that you can check out, some songs I've been a part of, and if you like them, whatever. It doesn't really matter. I'm not really doing much with them. But the reason I bring this up is because I never, ever thought I would talk about Kanye West because why talk about Kanye West? What hasn't this guy said and done that is already, speaks for itself for the lunacy and the giant ego and how just stupid this guy is. And sure, he's done some pretty good things, and that's why I say yeah, I'm into hip hop. I like some of his tracks. I like from the older stuff that had to do with graduation type of stuff, like the college dropout stuff like that. I was actually into his shit. Anything recent, not so much. And so I can sound relevant, I gave Yeezus in 2013 a chance. I listened to it. I was bored out of my mind. I thought it was fucking awful. Like it's too damn artsy. Okay, so and the reason I bring up Kanye West is he recently said some shit on Twitter that I couldn't ignore, or everything else I've ignored because everyone else takes care of it. I mean, hell, South Park destroyed him, which was one of my favorite episodes with that whole gay fish thing. Hell, even Obama called him a jackass, and to me, I thought that was hilarious because I imagine Kanye West would be like, "Yeah, Obama, I love you" and stuff, and all of a sudden, this fucking guy is like, "You're a jackass," and it's like, ha 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 ha, fuck you, Kanye. All right, so I went on Twitter and I was actually recommended to do a video about this by one of my subscribers. So thanks for that, man. And the first tweet that I wanted to bring up, this is what it says: to Pitchfork, Rolling Stones, New York Times, and any other white publication, please do not comment on black music anymore. And so, at first off, you'd probably be like, okay, yeah, Kanye would say something fucking stupid about that. Like, he would say something like that. That's his MO. And me, it's just one of those more outrageous things that he's recently said where I'm like, come on, dude. Come on. Like, are you really that fucking stupid? Are you really gonna say something like, oh, these type of magazines, especially some of these really prestigious ones that critique music and that's their job, and say, oh, don't comment on black music? Especially, it's not like it's black or there's negative spins on this shit. Or, for example, my ex roommate subscribes to Rolling Stone, and I would check out some of the articles, and it would praise black music and hip hop very highly. It was a very positive like. I mean, Kendrick Lamar being on the cover, David Bowie being on there and having a nice huge article talking about his latest album was heavily influenced by Kendrick Lamar. Just as small examples where I thought this is a pretty good magazine. I'm actually reading some of the articles. Cool. So very stupid for Kanye to say something like that. But I also thought, because I've been aware for especially some of the people that I follow, like say for example the Needle Drop. Kanye West just came out with a new album, so could this just be publicity? Is he just trying to, get all eyes on him so he can get more viewers, more people to check out his stuff and be aware that he has a new album dropping, or like it just dropped? And the more I think about it, the more I think it's that, because he says stupid shit all the time. I mean, clearly he's a fucking idiot. I mean, I have no idea how, and this is just, coming from my perspective, how anyone could want to marry Kim Kardashian, or, even really find her attractive. Like, the thing is, maybe, and in certain lights, yeah, she's kind of pretty, but in my opinion, I think she's fucking gross, dude. And it's not just because of who she is. I look at her and I'm like, it's not for me. Not for me. No thanks. So, yeah, Kanye, just a fucking huge mess of shit. But however, he said he's a creative genius, and maybe this is a part of his genius, getting everybody to talk about him. Fuck, I'm talking about him. I've never talked about this motherfucker before, and now I'm talking about him. So I guess it's working. But he also followed up the tweet, because I'm sure he got a shitload of backlash. Obviously, who wouldn't? He followed up the tweet by saying, I love, love, love white people, but you don't understand what it means to be the great grandson of ex-slaves and make it this far. And I'm sure everybody was like, oh yeah, Kanye, you're so good. That, yes, the struggle has been so real, whatever. And I'm just like, shut the fuck up, dude. Shut the fuck up. Using that as a crutch, man, to make you seem like what you did was so much fucking greater. It's not, man. It's not. Like I said, I've even said in other videos and shit like that, people want to carry all the bullshit that happened back in the day on their shoulders and act like things are just as hard. Things are just as hard for them. Where I'm like, fuck no, man. Do you think if things were so fucked up right now, would Kanye West be able to be in the position he is right now? Fuck no. Like, no fucking way. And that's what pisses me off, where to say shit like that, or, oh, you have no idea what it's like. And obviously, in my opinion, he's talking to white people. He's saying, white people, you guys have no idea. And this is another thing that bothers me too, where like people like him, and there's a lot of people that act like black people were the only slaves. Where, I mean, when you enter any discussion nowadays, people are getting smart enough to understand that there were slaves all around the world in fucking nearly every single fucking country. Just pretty much every country. You had a dominant population, and slaves was always a thing of wealth. If the more slaves you had, the more wealthy you were, the better you were doing. It made your life easier. So of course, it was a good idea to a lot of scumbags. They were like, yeah, let's get some slaves, let's own some fucking property. And I think one reason why black slaves are talked about so much in the United States is it's one of the most recent things. And so that always makes sense to me, where obviously we're going to talk about the most recent stuff. That's just how things work in pop culture, where we don't talk about slaves like, Spanish slaves that the Spanish took. We don't talk about... we don't even talk about Irish slaves, really, even though it wasn't that long ago either. It's just not as of an impact for some reason, where a lot of people in the Irish culture will tell you otherwise. And they'll tell you how they were even shittier slaves and even worth less than black slaves or something, because they weren't as athletic and badass as black slaves, because just the way that my people are built, we're built more for... That's why, obviously, we're very athletic, where a lot of black people were into sports and shit like that. So, whole lot of bullshit, and it's just like Kanye, I wish I could run into Kanye and just be like, dude, you're the biggest scumbag on earth, shut the fuck up. Like, he really does need a reality check, but the thing is, he won't allow himself to be checked. However, at the same time, just to be, on the other side and be reasonable, or it could, like I said, publicity, man. I'm talking about him. A lot of people are talking about him. Album just dropped. I also think compare it to that rapper B.O.B. He dropped a song called Flatline or some bullshit like that. And around that time, he also started talking about the flat earth theory. And flat earthers, man. I don't know if you people are aware of flat earthers. I'm sure a lot of you are starting to understand, but I'm going to do a video on that too, because the flat earth theory is fucking... I'll say no more. But yeah, so in my opinion, that's what that B.O.B. dude was doing, the same fucking thing, where it's like, hey, flat earth, crazy, hey, look at me, look at me, look at me, and all of a sudden, views start pouring in and shit. And so I think that's what Kanye is doing. But in my opinion, I think there's better ways to garner a hell of a lot more attention towards you, because when you say shit like this, after a while, I think history is going to prove that a lot of this type of rhetoric is going to be irrelevant, and people are going to walk away from this shit after a while. When people start realizing that there's problems that are bigger than just race, than just, white and black and brown and what the fuck ever, where it starts to transcend into just... there's human problems, and there's civil rights problems between, like, say, even genders where we go into other countries where, like, say, Saudi Arabia is fucking horrible. So I think as history goes on and time will just prove that Kanye is a piece of shit. Well, we already know he's a piece of shit, but the people that are liking and retweeting and everything like that will grow up. They'll become adults and they'll look back and be like, well, yeah, that fucking shit was stupid. You know, that was just a silly phase when I was into really shit music. And by the way, I listened to a few tracks from Kanye West's new album. I'm not digging it. You know, to be honest, I've never been the biggest fan of him. Like, I like some of the stuff that he's done before, but I've always thought that his voice was just really fucking flat to me, really boring. It never really carried me to want to listen to one of his albums all the way through. But that's no here or there. Fuck this guy. What do you guys think about these tweets that he dropped? Let me know what you think in the description below. Check out the links and bullshit that I left, and I'll see you guys in the next video.